Hey friends, for many of us, I think it can be easy to look at the 10 Commandments and see how we measure up. Did we lie today, steal, take the Lord's name in vain? Did we murder or commit adultery? These are very specific commands, and for the most part, easy to identify and walk in obedience. But what about command number 4? Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. As Christians living in the 21st century, with many of us experiencing very comfortable living conditions and having little want or need, have we found it acceptable in some way to minimize or even forget about this commandment? I find myself going back to this command with a healthy conviction. Am I living this out? Am I being obedient to this command? And I've even asked myself this question, what does it even look like to follow this commandment? Is the Sabbath on Saturday or Sunday? For those of us in full-time ministry, is it on Friday or Monday? What is the acceptable amount of work that I can or can't do? Is the Sabbath rest meant for my soul, my body, or both? As I think about these questions, I'm drawn to Mark 2:27, where Jesus says, the Sabbath was made to meet the needs of the people, and not the people to meet the requirements of the Sabbath. Following the Sabbath is not about being legalistic. Having a legalistic mindset looks at the Sabbath in terms of meeting a requirement. It is often fear-based with a focus on an unpersonal relationship with God. But with the right heart perspective, honoring the Sabbath helps and supports us. It's about trusting God. It's about living a life with boundaries, but it is not a rigid life. Jesus, who was on the very cusp of initiating the new and better law, the law based upon his death, burial, and resurrection, he made it clear that the Sabbath was not to be dismissed, but also that it was not to be held in an authoritarian or harsh way either. King David and his men, they harvested food to eat on the Sabbath. And Jesus, he healed on the Sabbath, much to the annoyance and the disapproval of the Pharisees. Remember, the Sabbath is a gift meant to help you and meet your needs. So ask yourself today, is the Sabbath helping me? Too often, I find myself being distracted and busy on the Sabbath. I find myself pursuing tasks or duties, different jobs that don't need to happen on the Sabbath. John Eldredge, a Christian author and speaker, writes about the Sabbath in this powerful way. If your family is not refreshed and restored come Sunday evening, then you have missed the Sabbath. And if your religious activities have bound the soul to duty and burdened it with law, then not only have you violated the Sabbath, but you've done so in the name of God. So this is the question I'm asking myself and my family. At the end of the day on the Sabbath, did we have our quiet time? Did we pursue our relationship with God? Do we feel refreshed and restored? Do we feel closer with God? If it's important enough for our perfect Heavenly Father to rest after creating all that we know and see, it should also be important for us. So be encouraged that the Sabbath is here to help you and support you. I hope and pray that you will experience that today.